hair is standing on end just thinking about it. My hair is standing on end just thinking about it. My hair is standing on end just thinking about it. My hair is standing on end just thinking about it.
Right. See if we can get Grace on here now.
Does it work? I don't know if this is working.
There's Grace.
Hello.
We did it.
Yes, I don't know what happened. I had to restart everything.
This is what happens. Like, I was thinking of this. This is what happens. Like in a race as an athlete, things happen. In
Things
a
do
live
happen.
stream, things happen.
Absolutely.
But guess what? It's 2:05 Eastern time, and we are
Yes.
live once again. World's greatest live stream is live right now. We have Grace Stark. We have Beatriz Hatz coming on as well. She's running a little bit late. Probably, all that weight around her neck with that bronze medal
Absolutely.
slowing her down. The So just a quick intro to everyone who's watching. So I'm Bob Siosik. I'm founder and CEO of World's Greatest. We make content with amazing athletes, hopefully with Grace very soon. So Grace, where are you? Tell us who you are, what you do, and where are you right now?
I'm Grace Stark. I'm an American track and field hurdler. I'm currently in London and I'll be traveling to another Diamond League here in a couple days.
So you're headed to Zurich.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we just had Peyton Otterdahl on last night, and he
Okay.
he just went straight from Rome to Zurich. He's
Mm-hmm.
hanging out, chilling out, getting a little practice time in, doing all that
Mm-hmm.
good stuff. But you wanted to enjoy the overcast weather of London, so
Yes, it is a little, it's different. I'm used to the 95-degree weather in Florida, so it's not really
exactly.
that here.
I love London though. That's one of my favorite cities.
Oh, it's very nice. I've had a good time exploring London.
This is one of the things Grace said. I think a lot of people don't realize, especially for track and field athletes. You guys travel the world.
Hmm.
Like NFL players are going to like Cleveland. No offense to Cleveland, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Cleveland,
This is
Jacksonville.
my first time in Europe.
Is it
So
really?
Paris was my first time in Europe, and I've been to Poland, Switzerland, now the UK. So it's really exciting.
The That's kind of cool though. Your first
Hmm.
time, and you're like, so how is your packing? Is your packing on point so far?
I have a little too much stuff, especially going to the Olympics and getting all the gear. So I did send a bag home with my parents and a bag home with some of my teammates and training partners back in Florida. But I have a bag here of all my training gear and competition gear. Again, it's a little too much, but I'll know better for next time. It's my first time traveling
Yeah.
overseas for a competition like this, so I kind of just packed whatever I thought I might need just in case, and I know better for next time.
Hey, we all know what puts you over the top with packing, especially on longer trips. It's the shoes. Like,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have kind of a decent amount of shoes. Like right out of the
Hmm.
gate, you have two sets of things.
Hmm. Yeah, I
So
didn't realize how much shoes I would get in Paris, but I got like 5 or 6 pairs of shoes in Paris just because of the stuff gifted to us by Team USA and then the stuff gifted to us by Adidas. So it's just kind of accumulated. And again, I've had to send some home with my parents and I kept some, but it's still too much.
yeah, it's too much. All right, so I'm gonna wait for this one question for later
Okay.
because I want B on as well. But I do want to get I always ask this kind of what were you thinking question, and just right out of the gate, like what were you thinking when you made the Olympic team? Those Now that like when Lewis Johnson is asking you right after you make it, like you're just blurting out any words. You don't know what
Yeah.
you're saying. But now that you have some time to think, what were you thinking?
Yeah, it was just like a dream come true. I've had my fair share of injuries the past couple of years, so I've always hoped to make this Paris team, but the last couple of years it didn't look like I was going to. So it looked like my Olympic debut would be potentially in 28. But we've worked really hard with PTs and trainers and coaches and family and teammates, just really being supportive and helping out and trying to get to this point. So I was super excited and super blessed. It just like was not something I had expected. I had a what's it called, a vision board. I have a vision board and the Olympic rings are on it, all these different types of things like Paris and the Eiffel Tower, all these different types of things that I tried to manifest and pray about, but I just didn't really know what would happen just because I didn't really know how the season would go. But again, I just wanted to set my goals pretty high and try and achieve them, and I was super blessed that I was able to do so.
That's cool. The I think again, I'm always trying to like preach a little bit to our audiences. Women's 100-meter hurdles in the US.
Hmm.
This I think it's the hardest team to make. It's like at
It's a hard
any
team, yeah.
this is a hard team to make. And hey,
Hmm.
at any given time, you still have veterans like Nia Ali who
Hmm.
still might pull something out, right? So
Yes,
so there's you have veterans, you have, Alicia, you have like there's so many amazing athletes. It,
absolutely.
and you guys just keep coming. That's the other thing in, that you realize once you're in the sport a little while, the collegiate athletes just keep coming out. They just
Hmm.
keep coming out. And
Absolutely.
unlike, say, the NBA, where you have to get drafted, then you're on a team and all that kind of stuff, you guys can be ending your college season on a hot streak and go straight to trials and look out.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's crazy the change. How a couple months ago I was a collegiate athlete, and now I'm in London getting ready to travel, compete at all these Diamond League meets that I used to watch on TV and sit and get ready for. It's such a crazy transition, and it's all happened so fast. But I'm super excited that and grateful that I was able to, transition and be able to start my Diamond League series now versus like competing like a whole year. Just why I feel like I'm on a high, just like continue and ride out that high as long as I can before, we take a break and then get back into fall training and get back into the indoor and outdoor season again. The 100 hurdles, you never know who's going to win. I mean, there's so many great girls and great women competing. I think if we like look back at a lot of races, you see five, six, seven, eight of the top 10 girls in the world all competing against each other with times that are so close. You kind of just can flip a coin on who's going to win. I mean, even with the Olympic trials, you never really knew who's going to win. And I think there's so many predictions online about the three girls that are going to make it, and some might who sneak on the team. And I feel like most of them have been wrong this year. I feel like us three were kind of girls who were good, but we didn't know if like we were expected to make it. And the competition was great. I mean, top three all broke the old Olympic trials record. I think top six or seven was all sub 12.4. And that's just such a crazy race. And I was just so blessed to make the team. All those women are so amazing. And some of them that I've looked up to and competed against for a long time. Yeah.
I know it's just wild. It is wild. To me, it's almost like we need we need more rounds to see more of you guys competing, just for selfishness, like as
Hmm.
fans, just to watch you guys. But to me, the so I had never been to a track meet before 2018 when I started World's Greatest,
Hmm.
and the first meet I went to was the Drake Relays. I think it
Okay.
was yeah, I think it was Drake Relays, and the first event I saw was 110-meter hurdles,
Hmm.
and I was right on the track. We were shooting all the stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy! It's
Hmm.
loud, it's violent, it's incredibly exciting. You don't know who won. Like I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Hmm.
And now, you as fans, as we get to know you guys, like you're kind of half holding your breath. Like, are your parents really just like almost can't watch when it's live?
I'm not sure what they have going on through their head. I know they say they're as nervous as me, so I try and be relatively calm, but there's some times where I'm trying to put on that bib and I have to give it to one of the volunteers to put it on because my hands are shaking so bad. So, there's some days where I'm super relaxed and cool and ready for the race, and some days where I'm really nervous, and both of those produce good races usually. So I imagine they kind of base it off me. If I'm really nervous, they try and calm me down. If I'm really calm, they try and stay calm. They don't really tell
Right.
me what they think. I know they keep their eyes on the whole race and they're cheering and loud, and they're always by the finish line when I finish. So it's really exciting to have them there. But yeah.
The you came out of post. Let's just talk post Olympics for a second because you came
Hmm.
out and won a race right out of the gate.
Hmm.
Right. So how did that feel? Like to go, all right, made the
Well, post
team
Olympics or post trials?
post. Wasn't it post Olympics in Poland?
Post Olympics, I got second in Lausanne, and then post
Second
trials, I
Lausanne.
got second, or I got first at
Got
the
it. That's
Holler
right.
Pro Classic at home.
That's right. That's right. The but to come out and like say, hey, it wasn't like you just made it through the Olympics and you super strong finish. Everybody was right there, and you're coming out and medaling in events after the Olympics, which again I think shows some level of like athletic maturity, right? And to kind of know how to keep that peak and to keep it going.
Yeah, I have a really great coach and a really great support system, and he's really tapered me at the right times and peaked me at the right times. And with all of my training, I feel like he's done an amazing job and it sets me up for all these races and all the times that I run. So I was super excited that I was able to go back into the 12 threes. You know, you kind of really don't know because I've competed so much because I've been competing almost every other weekend since like January and running multiple races each weekend. So we don't really know where like my body, I guess, is at and how if it's over raced or whatever. But you know, I love racing, and so I'm glad that I was able to continue. And my coach knows that I love racing, so he's writing great workouts that prepare me for other races like this.
The so tell everybody this group that you train with.
Yeah, it's an insane group. I am blessed to be able to be teammates with some of them and now training partners in the professional world. I think we had I want to say 14 or 15 of us. 14, I think, currently from the group, and then maybe like 15 or 16 that like either went to college at Florida, trained for a little bit, and moved on. But most of the time, I train with Grant Holloway. I train with him. I travel with him for the most part. We're in the same agency, so I do a lot of the stuff with him. He's been here. He's definitely been a big brother through this entire process. I've gone to him just like kind of confused with what decisions I want to make about my future when it came to like signing with an agency and a company and then what I wanted to do after. And he's always at my warm-ups and always is watching me practice. You know, we text back and forth about our practices. And we just go through and just like dissect our hurdle races. I also train with or roll around Jasmine Moore. She's amazing. The first woman to get 2 medals in an Olympics in both jumps.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Anna Hall, amazing as well. An amazing heptathlon athlete. Malcolm Clemens, he's a fifth year going into his fifth year at the University of Florida. He's great as well. He's a long jumper. Marquise Dendy. Like it's just such a
Yeah.
crazy,
Is it Donald
crazy
Scott's
group.
there now
Yeah,
too?
Donald
Yeah.
Scott's there. Um,
Is
Christian Taylor
Quenisha
was
there?
training a little bit. Quenisha was there, yes.
Yeah.
Trevor Bassett. There's
Trevor,
just
that's
so
right.
many
Yeah.
like Ariane Knighton, Joseph Fahnbulleh. Like there's just so many like never-ending names of amazing athletes that all train at Florida. Parker
That's crazy.
Valby.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like even the names that you're like remembering. Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, they're like
It's
such big names, and it's crazy that I get to see them every day and talk to them every day and get to pick their brain about how their practice went or what they think can do better, how they think I looked, how I think they looked. It's just cool to be able to collaborate with them.
yeah. How much of that is kind of like you went to school and now you're kind of in another school in a way, just absorbing. Is that a huge advantage for you? Do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, some of these people are some of my best friends, and I'll be lifelong friends with them. So it's great to have that friendship, but also have them say, "Hey, this is what we do at track meets." Like Grant, he'll be walking me through things that we do at track meets and how the professional world works. I kind of just have been since I would say the Olympics, I've really just been like since because we traveled together, we did
Yeah.
everything together. So since then, I've just been following his lead, and it's been kind of like I just am there to like observe and learn, and he's just been kind of taking the steering wheel on like just showing me around. Aaron Nyan as well. I mean, he's really great, part of the same agency. He's in London as well, and we'll travel together to Zurich. So there's so many people around that I can just pick their brains and just learn so much about like the track world and stuff. And it's just kind of cool talking about like the different events and the different experiences that they've had being on different teams. Jasmine Moore, she's one of my best friends, and this is, I think, her fourth team that she's made. She
Is
made
it really?
21,
Wow.
21, 22 worlds, 23 worlds. And yeah, this is her 14, 2 Olympics, 2 world championships. So, to be able to
Amazing.
like pick her brain and talk to her about how her experience has and going through college has been really cool. I go to her for a lot of advice. I was just texting her earlier just about just like how I'm like stepping into this stage of life because she kind of did it. So it's great that I have like people to look up to and then other people to go through the process with as well. Claire Bryant, she's a long jumper or was a long jumper at Florida, and then there's Parker Balby. We kind of all three have been together throughout this whole process and trying to like figure out agents and companies and traveling and all this different stuff that comes with being a pro athlete. So it's good to have people to look up to, but also people to experience the more difficult stuff that comes along with being a pro.
Yeah, and I think too the it's such a great community to have around you, and obviously you have, you know, your family as well, but then
Hmm.
having be able to pick the brain of all these different athletes at all these different stages. Like Arian Knighton's like a veteran, but he's like
Hmm.
what, 20?
Yeah,
Like
he's 20. It's crazy. I'm
he
3 years older than him, but I'm learning the pro world from him, and I'm 3 years older.
he I met him, I think it was Jacksonville event in like 2019 or 20 or something, where
Hmm.
he set the, I think it was the U18 record, but he was wearing, we sponsored that event. So he was wearing a
Hmm.
world's greatest bib, which was pretty cool that day. But it seems like he's been around literally forever, and
Yeah.
he's 20.
Yeah, he's 20. It just shows how much better and much more potential he has. He's only 20 and he's doing amazing.
So here's the thing I keep preaching everyone to the to tell fans and audiences who are maybe just getting into it. This literally is the greatest era of athletes in, and I'm not just going to say in track and field, but I know that for a fact,
Hmm.
the deepest, best era of athletes ever. And it really does, I think, apply across the board. You could go to
Hmm.
shot put, you could go to discus, you can see all these records being
Yes.
broken. And like Peyton Otterdahl said it yesterday, he goes, you know, Bob, that's not even like your opinion. It's actually a fact based on
Yeah.
all of the records that are being
Hmm.
broken, you know, and it's like, how much higher can we jump? How much quicker
Yeah.
can you run? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, we've done a lot of work over the years with Devin Allen, and we talked about. I don't know if you saw the episode that we did with his for a Science of Movement show. We have
Hmm.
10 episodes, each with a different athlete. You know, kind of breaking down those individual events. And Devin's like, look, it's he's like, I've studied all the parabolas of going over a hurdle and kind of whatever. How do you guys call it? Like the touchdown points, like the
Yeah.
takeoff
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
touch. You're like takeoff and touchdown. Basically, everyone has the same. That's the same amount of time,
Yeah.
like across. So he's like, really, it comes down to your start and your finish,
Hmm.
right? And
It really
so,
does.
which in the concept of that is crazy because now you're like, okay, now we've eliminated like what 85% of the race or something.
Hmm.
So you guys are like focused on this tiny percentage, but the other stuff has to be clean as well,
Hmm.
right? How do you train for that? How do you focus for that? Because it seems like, and the races are so tight. What's your mentality and how you do that as an athlete?
Coach Holloway tells us to focus on our own lane, and I think it starts with that. I try and find like a point on the track when I'm in the blocks that I look at, try and block out what's next to me. Obviously, I know like who's next to me, and I always know who's next to me, but I try and really focus on myself. And sometimes it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you can see maybe I could be like distracted, but I try my best to focus on myself. We always talk about the first 3 meters are what is going to make the difference and how you're going to race. And if you execute those, you're going to have a lot of momentum at the end. And that's like the biggest thing we talk about in practice. And those first 3 steps, just pushing out those first 3 steps and just making sure we're going all the way through the hurdle, not just like plotting and stopping at the hurdle. Because, Coach Holloway says all the time the hurdle's always going to be there. It's not going to move. So don't be afraid and just take it. And I can admit, I hate to admit it, but I have obviously been afraid of the hurdles at some point or another. And I think everyone has. But once you like kind of get over that fear and just kind of just focus in on your lane, you in the finish line, that's all, and those 10 hurdles, you're going to have a great race.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, I learned early on, and even talking to Coach Holloway, you know, he talked about how like Grant is, he's like, Grant's an energy monster. We all know this, right?
Hmm.
And he's like, but if I can get Grant to be performing when he's most tired, right, in practice, and really kind of, he didn't use the word breaking him down, but kind of,
Hmm.
right, where it's like you guys get so tired, and if you can still perform then, you're going to be able to translate that to the race. Is
Hmm.
is that how Coach Holloway kind of works with you as well?
Um, Maybe in his mind, that's something I haven't really asked him. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure kind of what goes through his mind in that aspect. Um, I don't know. I think Grant and I are.
We're gonna have to ask him that next time.
Yeah, that's something you're gonna have to ask him. I didn't really. I knew Grant is very energetic. I didn't know that's like kind of how he trained Grant. Um, I mean, having Grant at practice is so amazing. He's so fun. We talk back and forth, and we race each other in practice, and it's a little loud, chaotic. And if you're watching, you're like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck's going on out there?" But you know, it's a great time, and we post great results from those kind of practices.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey B.
Hey,
Hello.
oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I just got back to the village from the Team USA like media
Hey,
stuff. So
hey.
just
You know what? I saw a video. I was watching a bunch of your videos, and I saw a video of you saying, "Hey, I'm always late. If there's a party at 5, I'm showing up at 7." So I said, as long as B's showing up by like 3:15, we're good.
yeah. Yeah, it's it's that Mexican in me. We're always late.
It's wild. It's wild. So, all right, let's get right into it with you. Grace, meet B. Do you guys know each other, by the way?
Hello. No.
Hey. No.
Hello.
I'm gonna Grace. I'm gonna toss it to you. I'm gonna put you on the hot seat to begin with. So you probably have a couple of questions for B. So I'm gonna step back for a second, toss it to you, and see what you have to say to be starting to show off.
Yeah, just how was your experience so far being in the village? I know I was there a couple weeks ago and it was an interesting experience. It was really fun, but also like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I just want to know how you experienced it.
It is like at first it's super overwhelming
Hmm.
because there's so much going on. Like I know that all the different buildings, all of different countries are here, but like just the difference between Tokyo and here is insane. Because Tokyo, like everybody had to wear masks, there was a
Hmm.
lot of like separation, but now there is almost more camaraderie because of it,
Okay.
I think. So there's a lot more athletes that will, come up and exchange pins or
Oh
things like that. I
yeah,
think the pins created a lot of camaraderie.
that's
So
good.
it's super cool. I love the village. This experience has been so surreal and just like I don't know. I couldn't have asked for a better experience, honestly.
That's good.
The so I B I want to get right to it, because we all know, if we don't hook people within 7, 10, 15 seconds, we might as well just turn off the live stream. So I'm going to get right into it with some of my things. So I'm going to start with you, B, and then Grace, we're going to do the same thing with you. I'm
Okay.
getting out my stopwatch. Okay. All right, B, give me your life story in 60 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
All right, I am a Hispanic athlete born from Colorado. I was born with fibular hemimelia. It's a rare birth defect. I did a bunch of sports growing up, and I joined track and field as a joke in high school. It was part of a bet, and now I am a bronze medalist in the long jump at my second Paralympic Games.
B, you're only at 23.
I was
All
trying. You
right,
know
all
what?
right.
I was trying to make it nice and short for you.
Let's add to it. Ready? You still got more time. Ready? Go.
Okay, I got some more time. I have two younger brothers who definitely encouraged me. They made me the person that I am today, made me extremely stubborn and extremely competitive. Anytime my baby brother Ryan did basketball, all right, I have to do basketball. My brother Buddy, he did baseball, I did softball. So I tried to do as many sports as I could just to kind of prove people wrong. Everybody that told me that I couldn't do something, I would take it as a challenge, and so I decided to do it. Somebody had told me I wouldn't be be able to do winter sports, joined snowboarding. I tried skiing, and so now like I'll try just about anything. You tell me I can't do something, I'll do it.
All right, now this is more respectable.
More
101.
respectable.
101. 101.
There we
So
go. There we
the
go.
current world record holder in this little game so far on the Paralympics live stream show is held by Rose Hollerman, wheelchair basketball player. So she was 58.78, and then I think it was Peyton Otterdahl, the shot putter yesterday, almost got her, but he was like 4/10 off. So
Ooh.
you're in the mix, but you went over. So I don't know. We're gonna have to go to the judges on this. Grace, are you ready? Are you ready to do yours?
Yes, I'm ready. I think I might probably go under or over, just not exact, but I'll try.
B, give us the countdown.
All right. Are you ready, Grace?
I am.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Grace Stark. I'm from White Lake, Michigan. I was adopted from birth, and I have an older brother who is 7 years older than me. I started in like ballet and soccer, and then my mom put me in gymnastics, and then pulled me out of gymnastics because she thought I was too powerful and too fast, and it's like, you need to take that to the track. So I went to track when I was around 13 years old, did track and quit all my other sports and just really focused on that with a club team. And for high school, throughout high school, I just, ran JOs and USATF meets. And then I went to an under 18 meet in Argentina, which, gave me a bit of the overseas experience. Committed to Florida in my senior year, went to Florida for 5 years and graduated in 23. Just finished with my 5th year, and now I'm an Olympian.
Oh man, that was pretty good.
Oh,
Oh,
56.
snap.
I was stressed.
That was good. Yeah, you were more stressed than in the Olympic finals, weren't you? Just admit it. Hey, you know what?
Yes.
Two things. One thing we know just from what Grace said is moms know best. We know that. So
Mhm.
there we go. But I forgot you're a Michigander too. I grew up in Southfield, Michigan.
Okay, I'm from the
Yeah,
White Lake Highland area.
yeah, very cool. All right, so B, let's show off the hardware again.
Let's
Come
see
on,
it.
let's see that
Yeah.
thing. Oh,
Yay.
Thank
amazing,
you, thank you.
amazing.
It's here's the other side of it, and it looks like the bottom of like the Eiffel Tower, and it's got the
Oh, that's
Aguitos,
super
Oh,
cool.
and it also for like the blind athletes has it in Braille right here as well.
Oh,
that's
wow.
So
such a
that is
cool
That's
super
super
idea.
cool,
cool.
right? And then the bottom of it, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's engraved, and it says like your classification and your event that you received your medal in.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
The
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about those final few jumps of yours. I was
Oh,
watching it. I was watching. I'm like, come on, girl, you better pull something off here. What's going
oh,
on? Tell
I
us about
was
that.
I was stressing. Oh my god. So, first of all, my first jump, they called it a foul, and so I had to protest that because it definitely was not a foul, but whatever. Like, it was so stressful because it's the first jump and I was ready to pop off. I was ready, and like it was a big jump. They called it a foul. I ran back over to watch it, and I start arguing with the officials. I'm like, "Do you see this? Do you see this white space? That means it's fair. Is the foul in the room with us? Please like let me know." And so that was like stressful. I was really trying to make sure that didn't throw me off of my game, because long jump is such a mental game, and it's so hard, and it's very easy to like get thrown off track. So it's hard to kind of like stay in it. So I took a breath, and I was like, all right. And I went from 8th to 3rd off of my third attempt, and then it was, I think, 5th round. The other Dutch girl, Kiki, she was like very close to my jump as well. She was 3 centimeters off, so I won by 3 centimeters. I won this bronze by 3 centimeters. And so that fifth attempt, like I couldn't watch. I was literally, I could not watch anybody jump. And so I waited until after her sixth attempt. And when I saw that she didn't improve, I was like, oh my God, no way. Like this last jump is for funsies now. Like I secured that. This is my medal. Now I can just jump and not have to think about it. And it was like stressful, but I wouldn't have changed it. I wouldn't have it any other way. It was amazing.
This is the crazy thing that as a fan looking at you athletes, like, show me how much you said 3 centimeters.
Yeah, that's like
Show me
nothing.
how much is that? Is that what
Yeah, it's
is that
like
the
it's
thickness of the metal? Like three? Is it?
honestly probably it's like not much, a like and that's the beauty of long jump, and that's what makes it such a difficult event is that all it takes is one. You can literally be like in the mix for a little bit, but if somebody just pops off one jump, you can win the whole thing. And so like, or you can move places like very quickly. All it takes is that one jump and you're just set.
Hey, I'm seeing. Do you guys know Wellington Zaza, the Liberian hurdler? He's in our little green room, and he wants to ask a question. I'm gonna pop him on quick. Zaza, you'll get one question, then I'm gonna bounce you out.
Hello, 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 everybody. Can I get
Hello.
two? Can I get two? One for each.
Yeah, one for each.
All right.
One of
So
my favorite people, Wellington Zaza. But you can put his name either way. He always says you could go
it's
Zaza Wellington.
interchangeable. Um, Grace, I watch you a lot. I like your hurling
Thank you.
style. It's very unique. I always like that. Like when everybody watch you out, when we watch you, I always say like you're like the gymnast. Like your three strides in between is like gymnastic esque. So I wanted to really ask like how are you able to carry that gymnastics runway type structure of style of running over hurdles?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Coach Holloway, I've always had that running style, I guess. Coach Holloway hasn't really changed it, so it's not something that we really practice. I guess it's just more natural in how I've just
Right.
gone throughout my like entire life. I do a lot of people think they're ankle weights when they see me like overseas or at random meets. I wear foot straps and they help me dorsiflex because I run on my toes naturally. So that's like the only thing we really work on is so I'm not like literally on like the tips of my toes like a ballerina, because if I could do that and that would make me win the race, I absolutely would, but that's
Right.
like the main thing we work on. Yeah.
And then for medalists over here, I want you to just congratulations on that. That's big, that's major. Um, I wish I would have one on my neck right now, but unfortunately, I'm not good enough. But no, I'm joking. But I really wanted to ask you, like, play back that moment when you knew you were like a couple centimeters from eighth place to medal position. Like, what went through your mind? Like, were you like just walk me through it from the time you heard your name, you were up. Like, walk me through it from that point all the way up to the board.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in eighth place for my second jump. I failed that first one, and that first one I was like, okay, gotta get out of my head. Then I'm in eighth place for that second jump. That third jump is actually what got me that medal. And so I was just thinking on that third attempt, because we had 12 people in our group, and it's like top 8, top 9 make finals, so they'll escort you out of the area once you're like not top 9. So I was like, okay, this is my third jump. I have to do something. I have to make sure I'm like up there. So I don't normally do this either, but it I just turned over and I started screaming. I go, Ale, Ale. And so I learned that Ale
I
means
mean, let's
go
go.
in
That's
French.
French. You know, that's yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's
And the
Ale.
great.
stadium, oh, they went nuts. They started,
That's dope.
Ale, they start clapping. So I got really hype. And that runway, my first 4 strides were very powerful, and I tried to carry my speed all the way through. And one thing that I do struggle with it is at takeoff is keeping my knees high and driving. So I just really tried to. And once I hit that jump, it was great. And I was like, all right, nice. Okay. I like it felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders after that third attempt. I felt way better.
So did you see the distance while you was in the air, or did you not realize the distance that you traveled or covered until you landed?
I didn't realize it until I landed. I was like in the air. I just try to like keep my hands up like as long as I can to then like pull through. And once I landed and I jumped out of the sand, I saw it was past 5 meters. And I was like, all right, well, this will for sure put me in the final. But then when I saw that it was like, what, 5:35, something around there, I checked and my name got pulled up on the screen to third. I said, oh my days, this is it. I got to maintain. Now I just got to maintain. So it was it was stressful being eighth, but it was just as stressful being third because I had somebody right on me. You know, that fourth place girl, she was 3 centimeters. She was right on me like the rest of that entire competition.
Literally, you
The
literally won an Olympic medal by the length of a pencil. That's ridiculous.
That's great. That's great.
And then Grace, final question, and you can
Zaza,
bump
you're
me out.
going over. I'm gonna have to
Wait,
bounce.
all right, but you said
You've
two.
already
You
done
said two
3.
each. You said two
Oh
each.
no, I said one. Okay, go ahead.
All right. No, great. I just want to know how did Grace feel when she made that Olympic team? Because like arguably, the U.S. men and women hurdles are the most dominant group of athletes in the world. Like, how does it feel to now be a part of that elite group of hurdlers coming from the U.S.?
Yeah, I was just so blessed to be able to make the team. I was saying earlier how like I these past couple years have been difficult, so I kind of didn't know if Paris would be my first Olympic team or if LA would be. And I had always hoped it was Paris, but again, with like a lot of injuries, I just didn't know. But yeah, there's just so many amazing hurdlers. I mentioned before, like the top 6 or 7 at war or at trials were all under 12:4, which is crazy. And us top 3,
That's
we
insane.
all ran faster than the previous trials record. So it was just so crazy. The energy was so high, and I was so excited. We were all first time Olympians, so that made like the experience sharing that bond with those girls so special. But yeah,
Yeah,
The
that's awesome, man. And then also, good job on the comeback on a crazy injury. I know that feeling.
thank you.
Um, yeah,
Hey Zaza, we're gonna bring you back. We'll bring this will be like a special segment we do.
yeah.
Come, come back later. Come back tomorrow. We have Chase Jackson. We're trying to still line up somebody on the Paralympic side. We have like
Okay.
5 people responding, but we're trying to get the times right.
Chase Jackson, as in like Chase Ely Jackson.
Yes, I always
Okay,
have to
all right.
correct myself because I'm always
Oh,
wanting.
all right. Well, all right. Well, congratulations to both of you ladies. Grace, I'll
Thank
be watching
you.
your next race overseas. It's Berlin just passed, right?
Yeah, Berlin was today. I'll be competing on the 5th in Zurich.
In Zurich. All right. I
Mhm.
might even be in the stadium. I live in
Oh,
Lausanne,
okay. Okay.
so all right. Good luck good luck to
Thank
you,
you.
Grace. Congratulations, Miss Olympic medalist. That's awesome stuff. I'm out of here. Got these little badass kids behind me. So,
See you, Zaza. Thanks,
all
friend.
right.
The Zaza's amazing. He's one of the most fun guys to be around. He's good buddies with Fred Curley, so it tends to they tend to come in pairs into the show, so they'll troll us in the chats and whatnot. um, the One of the things that I really want to talk about is, and B, you've kind of hit on it a little bit, but I want to do it with both of you. It's a question I ask a lot, but how do elite athletes like yourselves like harness all that talent, all that effort, all that energy, all the mental focus in the one moment that you need it on the biggest stage, which you just did, B? How do you do that? How do you pull that together when you need it the most?
Uh, I kind of wing it. I don't know. Like it's gotten so much better. I used to get really stressed out, and honestly, I used to get in my own way a lot. But now I work with like a sports psychologist. She has kind of like taught me some like ways to strengthen my mental toughness and kind of like get out of my own head when I'm competing. She's taught me how to visualize and try to see myself winning, try to, okay, what do I need to work on, but how do I talk to myself in a positive way to make sure that like I'm not bringing any negative energy to myself. How do I calm myself down? I mean, so she's definitely helped me a lot, and I think that's a big part of it. But also, I don't know, I get super nervous, especially for my like actual races versus my long jump. Because long jump, you got a long time to sit down and chill and like whatever, read through your little book, your journal. But the race, it's like it's gone like that.
Yeah.
It's happened. So you just kind of sit there and you trust your training, you trust your coach. But also for whatever reason, every time I compete and I run fast, I feel like I'm gonna puke right before. Like I feel sick, and I don't know. It's just if I don't have the feeling that I'm gonna throw up, or if I don't feel sick, I know I'm not gonna run fast.
Oh,
But like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, but it's just a thing, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of trust my coach. I take a deep breath in the blocks, and I'm like, all right, well, I feel like I'm gonna puke, so this is gonna be fast.
Grace, is that something that occurs with you?
I am kind of like back and forth. I can get really nervous or I can be super calm. So because I can be both, I really don't know what to expect on race day. Like I could be super nervous and have a great performance and super nervous and have a bad performance. Or like be really calm, have a great performance, really calm, have a bad performance. So it kind of just really like depends on the day. I think the biggest thing is just trusting in your training. And like with the hurdles, there's such a small margin of error. And I've fallen in that because a couple years ago in May of 22, I fell and had a tibial plateau fracture. So it was a pretty bad break and it was said to be career ending. So, I have fallen within that margin of error, which it caused a lot of anxiety the next year. So I worked with the sports psych a little bit as well, just trying to, remember that this is something that you train so hard for and that the one mishap doesn't define like the career, doesn't define all your training. So try to focus on the training that you've done and that's gotten you so far and just focus on that into each race. And that's just something I try and do every meet is just, focus on that training, know that this is something I trained for and I've worked really hard for, and this moment is what I've been preparing for so long, and all the little mishaps or the bad practices or the injuries are only like a kind of like a one-time thing or like a freak accident type thing, and that all those other times where I've gone over that hurdle the fastest I've ever to each race. And I try and focus on that as much as possible. I do still get nervous. I do still feel really it's kind of just a gamble of what I'm going to feel at the start line. But again, I still remind myself that this is the plan that, God had for me and this is where I was supposed to be. And that I just need to trust my training and trust God's plan.
The While we're here, all serious, let's just stay serious for a little bit longer. I do like to laugh, and both of you I know like to laugh. So I can't be serious too long. But what does it take to be the greatest?
Hmm. I
I
think
wouldn't know. I'm not there yet.
I am also not there, but I think when I talk to someone like a Grant Holloway or like an Anna Hall, someone or like Jasmine Morse, people who I think are great and are working their way to being the greatest, they always focus on like the little things. It's not like the main practices or like the big jumps practice or the big meet. It's all the little things that make you prepared for a big practice or the recovery or the supplements that you may need to take or the sleeping, the eating right, all those like little things that they focus on. I try and like pick different things and see what's best for me and what I see from them. So, they all have their like whoops to, try and see like they're sleeping, and they try and, get the hunters sleeping and, see where they're at. They all are very well hydrated. They all do the little things, and talking to the strength coach, going in with Coach Holloway and having those meetings, or their other respective coaches like Coach Welty and Worski and Coach Peterson, all those other people. They have those meetings with those coaches every day, sit in their offices, watch film, just talk and create a relationship. They go to therapy, they work on their mental health, they just work on the outside things, and it just all seems to come together at the track. And I feel like I've met a lot of amazing athletes, and I do like to pick people's brains. And I think a lot of them just focus on the little things. And, practice is going to be what it is. You're going to try your best, of course, when you get there, and you're going to do what you need to do, but it's how you prepare for those practices and those big moments. And they've all just said it's just the little things.
That's pretty cool. What do you think, B?
Over here on the Paralympic side of things, it's actually pretty different because well, not significantly different. We focus on the little things as well, but we do have a little extra on our plate as far as I'm an amputee. So my equipment plays an extremely large role into that versus able-bodied athletes can kind of already just, you know, they they will just grab their shoes, their spikes. So I have to focus on, okay, my running blade versus my jumping blade. Which one am I like? Okay, do I like how this blade feels? Is it is it too stiff? Is it too soft? Is the angle correct? Is this an optimal angle to push me forward? Is this going to push me up? So there's a lot of science that goes behind it, and it's finding the right prosthetist can be very hard. I like to tell people finding a prosthetist is like dating because you just got to go through them until you find the right one, and you stick to that right one because he will get you right, or she. But my current prosthetist is Peter Harsh. So a prosthetist, for those of you who don't know, is somebody who will create a prosthesis, and that is what goes on my limb and allows me to run, walk, jump, all of the above. So having the right equipment is the biggest thing because it is what makes me mobile. So without my prosthetic, I can't do anything. So I can't focus on the mental side of it. I can't focus on any of the other things unless I have everything else on this side set. So I think that's a huge role that plays into it. And having the right equipment and having it set up perfect just kind of, all right, that eases your mind a little bit. Okay, now I can focus on my sleep. Everything that Grace had mentioned, the Paralympians do the same as well. That they take this just as serious as the Olympians do, but it's just with that little extra. Is my equipment gonna fail me? Going into my long jump, I was told by my prosthetist that there is a chance that this blade would snap because there was a crack in it. He's like, "Are you going to take that chance? These things
Really?
can break."
The one that
Yes.
you jumped on for the bronze?
So yes,
Wow.
actually, I had a brand new long jump blade, and it was soft. I didn't like how it felt, but I had the one that was cracked, and he was like, "I don't recommend you jumping on this," but I
Wow.
felt comfortable in that one. I said, "No, my long jump, my approach, my rhythm is perfect on that one." This new one, I can't figure out the rhythm. It's you have to learn the blade, you have to learn the leg, and I did not have enough time. And I said, "You know what? What a better time to potentially snap a blade than at the games." So I took the risk. Thankfully, it didn't snap, and it got me to where I am. But
That
equipment is a large role.
Well, I didn't know anything about that until I had Coach Mack on for our first episode, and he said that was like the first thing I really had to like master was
Yeah.
how because he's like the heat that affects how your body is reacting and how your
Hmm.
prosthetic is kind of fitting into your right. So
Yes.
he was like, it's a whole other side of this. He's like that I had to kind of learn. And he's like, I'm kind of part, I don't know, physicist or something, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a
Yeah.
whole sciencey side that I have to apply to all this. So, um, Yeah, I mean, Grace, is that? I don't know if you heard a lot of that because you got bounced out somehow,
Yeah,
but
I kept on the internet. I don't know what's going on. It kept kicking me out.
the but that's such an amazing factor because on one hand you're just an athlete, right? But
Mhm.
the right, and on the other hand, you're an athlete that also has to deal with this other element.
Yeah. And there's things that go into that as well, as far as like, for example, a lot of people don't know that you're not supposed to like shave your limb. So the limb is the piece that goes into the prosthetic, because if you do, it can cause ingrown hairs, and that will just be a very painful bump on your leg where now you can't even wear your prosthetic. And sometimes those things will show up out of nowhere. Or if it's too hot outside and my leg swells up, I can't fit my leg into my prosthetic.
Wow.
So there's so many different things that go into it. Or if it's too hot outside, too humid, my leg could potentially sweat off the prosthetic and it will go flying off. So I have to be very careful of, okay, during my reps when I'm training, okay, coach, hey, I know I'm only supposed to have 90 seconds rest. I need to dry my leg off, or this next rep, I'm literally gonna fall. So it's kind of tough to work with the equipment, but you learn. This is all I've known.
Well, it's funny.
Mhm.
Blake Leaper, we had him on
Oh yeah.
the Olympics version, and Blake was like, he's like, yeah, let me tell you this story. He goes, I was in the call room and I noticed because he has the prosthetics where there's a pin involved, and he's
Yes.
like, I noticed one of the pin was not there. One of the pins. He's like, so I'm like looking around. He's like, we don't have phones. Coaches aren't allowed in there. He's like, but I'm like, what were you gonna do if you called him? He's like, I don't know. Go get some duct tape or something.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm just gonna race anyway, and that was the race where his leg went flying off.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. And sometimes it really is devastating when stuff like that happens, because we train our bodies and our bodies can feel great, and sometimes the equipment can just fail you because of these other outside things.
the the one thing that I think Coach Mack he talked about. He goes I really think I can work with, and I think he mentioned you, B. I really think I can work with athletes like B because he used to be a pole vaulter, so he's like it's kind of like pole vault a little bit. He's like that's where my original like I think I could do this. Is there a feeling for you, B, that like that it is a little bit like do you see some parallels to the pole vaulters or not so much?
I I personally have never pole vaulted. I'm very afraid to ever attempt that. But Coach Mack used to pole vault. He was a pole vaulter. His wife's a pole vaulter, and he has told me all about it. And so during long jump practice, he's constantly telling me, "This is like pole vault. It's like pole vault. Look right here, this, and this." And so like he'll explain it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." So it's the angle at which you put the blade down, and your shoulders having to be back, your core has to be stiff, your quad has to be tight. All right, now this blade is going to release you at this angle, and that angle is more optimal for, height and everything. So yeah, I see the similarities when he explains it, but I personally have never like pole vaulted, so I don't know. But I trust my coach, and that man knows what he's doing.
He does. He does. I mean, he's like incredible. All the athletes he's coaching at once is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's been trying to come over to him. That's my coach.
And you've been with him for a long time.
Yeah, I actually am his first para athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. The Grace, do you see when you see uh it's been in particular long jump for B when you do you see parallels at all to hurdles because on one hand you don't want to be in the air
Mhm.
as a hurdler. You want to be back down on that ground as quickly as possible. And at the same time, you don't want to be on the ground because you want to be over the next hurdle. So you're going to have to
Mhm.
jump again. But do you see parallels between what B does, what you do, and do you look at it a little differently than an average viewer and go, I saw this little thing?
Um, I don't know. I guess I've never really just like compared that event to mine. I mean, I've seen the long jump and how, you got to be fast. You got to be able to go and then go out. And I guess, again, like you said, it's a similar concept. I haven't done it, so I wouldn't know. I've never tried long jump, so I wouldn't know. But I have seen like Tara Davis. She was really successful at the hurdles when she was doing it her early years in college and throughout high school, and she's really amazing at the long jump. So I guess there are some like comparisons. I've never done it. I won't do it. But I guess I can see the why those comparisons are made. And I'm pretty sure Tara may not be the only one who's done both, but she has been very successful at both. So I imagine there's more similarities than I've experienced.
When we were shooting with Talia Brooks and a bunch of the Arkansas athletes in January, um, Tara was doing hurdles, and I just walked over. I'm like, "You want to tell me what's going on over here?" And she's like, "Shh." I'm like, "Do we have some breaking news developing?" So no, we didn't have any breaking news. She wasn't doing that. The we're kind of running out of time, but I did have a couple of more questions. First off, I wanted to ask both of you guys, what's the one question, especially like being think I'll do B first, Grace, so you can think about going back to a few weeks back at the Olympics. But what's the one question nobody has asked you that they should be asking you, B? And you're like, if I was interviewing me, I would be asking me this thing.
Oh my days. Um, I think a lot of times, interviewers just kind of straight up ask about like Paralympics or what I'm doing instead of asking like for more information about the classifications or what is the Paralympics. It's because a lot of people don't know, and there's a lot of people that are ignorant about the Paralympics and the movement itself. And I know the word ignorant can be harsh because it's got a more negative stigma around it, but honestly it's the lack of knowledge, and a lot of people don't have the knowledge about the Paralympics. It's still growing, and there's so many disabilities in the Paralympics. So I think that's something that a lot of people should know, and I don't ever get asked to really more so explain, hey, what actually is the Paralympics? Is like a lot of the times people confuse the Paralympics and the Special Olympics. These are two very different things. Paralympics, we don't all get medals. Not everybody gets a participation medal. And Paralympics is also people with just physical disabilities. We have people who, they're missing their legs, they're missing their arms, they're in wheelchairs. And a lot of the wheelchair classifications are different. So anytime you see one person in a wheelchair doesn't mean that the next person in a wheelchair has the exact same disability. They don't have the exact same function. Or blind athletes. A lot of the times people don't understand that people who are blind don't just see black. Like there's different levels of blindness, and I do really wish people would ask to kind of explain what the Paralympics actually is in like a deeper way.
Well, the just to add on that a little bit, that's really cool because when we had Brian Bell on, and then we had Rose Hollerman on, but I learned a lot from Brian, in the kind of point system, right? So when you see those five athletes out on the floor in wheelchair basketball, there's like a total of like 14 points, and each athlete is like a different points level, and you can't go over 14 points. So like when the Dutch team yesterday against the U.S. women's, they have one of the best players, probably the best player in the world, who has like the lowest point level, right? So she has disability from like chest down, right?
Hmm.
And but once you start to see that, you're like, oh, now I'm looking at it as a fan very differently, right? Who are they bringing in and out? Why are they bringing them in and out? Now I'm looking at what are they doing on the floor? Because Rose is like, I was asking her, like, what should we be looking for? And she's like, look off ball, because that's where all the interesting things are happening. Whoever has the ball, that's one thing, and they're going to shoot or pass or dribble, right? But the off ball action becomes really intriguing, right? Um, But Grace, as you're hearing me talk about that, one, I want to hear about, what's the one question that you should be asked. But two, I want to hear your kind of reaction to what B is saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I knew the difference between the Special Olympics and the Paralympics. I also think that's crazy that people didn't. But again, that is what it is. It is a concept that I found has so crazy is that I kind of always knew that blind people don't see black, but when people try and explain it, it's so just like I don't know how to say it without not sounding like rude. It's just so different. Like I just can't explain like how it's just not like black. Of course it's not black because it's just like that would be like seeing something, but it's such like a crazy concept for me who hasn't had to deal with anything like that to like kind of comprehend. But I do like to learn and I do like to hear more about the Paralympics and kind of the different disabilities that people have and stuff like that. And it's so like cool to just be able to watch everyone on TV and see them do the same things that I do and just be able to watch and see how cool it is. I mean, I've watched these things multiple times and it's just so cool and so inspiring to see someone like you with an Olympic gold or Olympic bronze medal around their neck. And it's just, like all these amazing athletes that go there in Paris, just like us. I wish we all could have been there at the same time, to be able to have conversations. Unfortunately, I honestly thought we were going to be there at the same time. And then they were like, oh, it's a couple weeks later. And I was like, that's really confusing. I just kind of assumed it was all at the same time or that it was going to be at the same time. So I was looking forward to that, but it is really cool being able to have this experience on the live stream, be able to talk to someone who is experiencing, and you've done so amazing, and I hope you continue to do so. Um, a question that I haven't been asked. I feel like I've been asked every question in the world. Um, I'm not really, people I think it's interesting. People always ask me about my injury or like kind of about adoption, but they're so simple and they're just like not very detailed. I mean, I was adopted from birth. I know nothing else. And people just kind of want a story there. There's really not much of one. And then I've been asked like a million questions um, about my leg, and that was a pretty bad injury. Um, I think a lot of people, wonder like how I got through it and just like nobody really asked about like the mental kind of aspect of it. People were just like, well, what was a hurdle that you had to go through? And I think people think physically because I did have to literally go over hurdles again, something that I thought I knew how to do, but I realized I just didn't know how to do anymore. And I think like people didn't understand that I had to go over these physical hurdles again, knowing that that's what took me out in the first place. And that was like really hard because I feel like every time I would get in a race, I would just pray that I don't fall, which I had never had to do that going into a race. And that's something that I have to pray for every time because I know how bad it can be. But I try not to let it just like have a chokehold on me, and I try to just like focus on, just the hurdles at hand and just the race. But there's still like that fear in the back of my mind that like I know how bad this can get. I know I can fall and break my leg. I know where I did it. I kind of know what happened as much as I can remember. I've seen the video 100 times. I know what can go wrong. I know if I mess up just a little bit, I'll be back on the ground again, a couple more surgeries. So I feel like people don't ask me a lot about the mental aspect. They kind of just like ask me about like the physical stuff that I had to come back from. But yeah.
Yeah, the B. I think you and I need to see if we can stump Grace. What is that one question? What's the one question she hasn't been asked? Oh, I have one. Do you have a way to open a bottle like B can?
Oh yeah, I have a bottle opener on one of my legs.
Oh my gosh, I was
That was so
struggling. That would have been great because I was struggling the other day in my hotel room. I couldn't open the bottle. I almost couldn't drink it. I had to go figure out and get help.
Oh,
I could not get this bottle open. And I was like, I might not drink it. And I
ah,
had like bought
dang.
it too, and I was really upset.
B.
I would be too,
Are you a Coke athlete, B? Because if are
You
you a
should be.
Coca-Cola athlete? You should be just based on this.
right? You would
You should
think. You
be.
would
This
think.
is so
Think about
easy.
like the ads and commercials and how
I know.
crazy
I
they
think
would go.
Right? And I think what Michelob Ultra is also like
Yes.
sponsoring the
Yes, yes,
games
Yes.
yes.
now. Or there's also like this little Corona area in the village.
Yes.
Super cool, super cool. Look, like I have a built-in bottle opener. I am made for this. Like
You need to go on TikTok and start making some videos. I promise you they will go crazy and then you're gonna get a deal.
She has a TikTok that has like 2.7 million or something.
Oh goodness,
yeah, I
goodness.
do. It's if you check my TikTok, it's pinned. It was one I made a while, like such a long time ago
So
with my training partner. It was after a practice, and we went over to like a little taco spot, and I just popped my leg up and opened it.
but I never saw it answered in the comments. Maybe I just missed it. Where it's like, do you actually have a bottle opener, or is that just part of a piece of the
So,
metal that you pop it?
so it's a bottle opener that is built into the prosthetic. I specifically asked for it. And like,
All right, so this is the greatest peek inside your mind right here. You
yeah, these are
you
things that go through.
you actually asked for a bottle opener to be built.
Yes, because all right, if I'm gonna have a disability and already like have to deal with something, I might as well make it fun, you know? Like thinking about maybe a Bluetooth speaker at some point, something cool.
I like that. I like that. A battery charger for your
Yeah,
phone. Yeah, you probably have like a million ideas. We
so
should,
many, so
you know
many.
what? We should actually concept this and just start to go to brands and we're like, be as willing to get this built in.
Honestly,
It seems
we
like a new
should.
camera angle with GoPro that we could just build it in. You'll just
That
be
would be
live
really cool.
streaming constantly
You know, people would tap in
from the blade. Live stream
from leg
from.
stream.
It's so good. The we've gone over, but this has been fun. This has been so fun.
Has, yeah.
The so normally at this point we do like a little shout out segment. Why don't we start with you, Grace? Shout out to anyone, any brand we're looking to get. That's always a fun time to do a shout out because then we can clip this video and send it to people and go, "Yo, come on, let's go. Where's the money?" So I'll start with you, Grace, and then we'll go to you, B, and
Shout
then
out
I'll.
to, oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
who do you want to
This is
shout
the
out?
kind of the Florida Gators, their entire program, the school, they've done so much for me. It's my home. I love it there. They're so amazing. They provided me with so much opportunity and resources, and shout out to them. Shout out to Adidas for taking a chance on me. Super excited to be with them these next couple years, and yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'd like to shout out Nike. They are my sponsors as well, so that's super cool. And shout out to Oser. Oser is the blade that I run on, so that is they're also my sponsor. Thanks to them because otherwise I wouldn't be running. But and shout out to Coach Mack for allowing me to, you know, be his first para athlete, first para medalist as well. So if he wouldn't have taken me on, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today. So definitely, Coach Mack is the man.
He is the man. The on our end too. If you want to follow, first of all, where can everybody follow you guys? By the way, on social.
All of them. They're all basically Grace Stark. They're all Grace Stark. Some of them have a 56 at the end. My Twitter and TikTok, I think. TikTok, I don't think there's a video on there, to be honest. I don't post on there. You, you're not going to get any content if you follow me on TikTok. You're not going to get any content.
We got a
I think
second.
there's one video I have on there, and it's for my friend Zoe. So you're not going to get the video.
Hey, here's the thing though, Grace. This is my thing. I used to be a big like commercial director, global creative director, and all this other stuff. If I didn't have $1 million to make a commercial, I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, I'm the opposite now. So
Mm-hmm.
just you're traveling the world. Just you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to get too creative. Just give us a little peek inside your
I know
world. That's all.
I need to show something.
Yeah, you don't have to get quite as B tends to get a little creative.
Yeah,
It's
2
gonna
point something million followers is
yeah,
crazy.
she's
Oh
like
no, I wish I had that many
Oh,
followers.
that's not the followers? Well, we'll
That
get you
was
there,
like
don't
the
worry.
views or the
We'll
likes on
get you
that
there.
video.
yeah, no, that
Yeah,
Show
was
off
yeah,
that
yeah.
medal, you'll get there.
exactly
You know?
B likes to get into it and get super creative, and that's going to take some time. And sometimes you're like, I don't feel like taking the time, but but we got to get some collab videos going with you guys. So if you want to follow us, so B, where can we follow you though?
Instagram is B Hatz with a Z track, and then my TikTok is also B Hatz, but it's got a 0. And then I don't trust myself to have a Twitter, so I don't. And I also have Facebook. I don't know how to post to Facebook. I just have it linked to my Instagram. But yeah, basically anything.
I think you would be great on Twitter though. Have you seen if Vernon
My
Norwood can go
intrusive
on Twitter?
thoughts.
Vernon is
I would just post
hilarious
all
on
of my
Twitter.
intrusive thoughts.
You should do it. Yeah, Vernon is hilarious on Twitter. Then you get Fred going, and it's just like I
It's
love.
like Vernon, Fred, Grant, and Rye. I
Yeah,
live for their tweets. They're so funny. And I'm like, why are you guys saying this? You guys, and they're so funny all in person too. So it's like
yeah,
what you see on Twitter is what you're gonna get. And they're all so funny.
totally. No, we're gonna have Vernon in later this week because I just gotta laugh with him again. He's
Yeah.
just too funny. So for us for World's Greatest, our little banner there is rotating. You can click into any of that to find World's Greatest. A big shout out for us to Vizio. So if you have a Vizio Smart TV, then you can get World's Greatest content. So we're distributed there. The big shows that we're featuring at the moment are the Science of Movement and Superhuman Stories. So these are two shows that we want to get rolling with you guys. So we'll talk about that after you get all settled down back into the States and all that stuff. And then a big shout out to Curiosity Stream. It's a streaming platform with a lot of like sciencey documentaries. They picked up the Science of Movement. I think we've been number one on there for like a month and a half. So we're kind of filling a nice little niche there. But through them, you can be found on Apple TV. So if you search Apple TV Science of Movement, you'll find that show. And the same thing on Prime Video. So we're continuing to like expand our distribution, which we'll keep doing. Those are all the shout outs. We've had so much trouble ending this show. So Devin Allen's coming back this week to co-host with me. And Devin's like, we got to get a better ending to this show. But we continue to struggle. So I don't know if you guys have something to help us end the show.
Oh, I don't
We were
know.
just kind of doing a little peace out. Good to see you guys. But, I don't know. B, do you have something that's going to...
Bring Snoop Dogg.
I've texted Snoop. He's not gotten back to me. I'm in his DMs. I'm texting him. He literally
He hasn't come to the Paralympics either. So.
Oh no, that's what I was busting him on. I was trying to shame him to see if I could get that.
Oh, no celebrities have been out here. I think we got Jackie Chan though, but I haven't seen him out here.
I've heard he's there, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I have not seen him either. I've heard he's here, but
yeah,
if anybody could
This
get
is why you
Keanu
need a
Reeves
Twitter.
out here.
This is-
Yeah,
Okay. You're convincing me. You're convincing me
You
more
get
and
a
more.
Twitter to tag, be like, "Hey, celebrities, where are you? We saw you at the Olympics. What about us?"
Right.
Then you're getting a bunch of followers, a bunch of likes, and athletes or celebrities they can buy a ticket. They can come up there real quick.
I think this is the end to the show. Celebrities, where are you?
Where are our celebrities?
Well, you still have time. That's the thing. That's like we still have. This is day.
Today's day 3. The Paralympics.
Yeah. So we go through September 8th. We have plenty of time, celebrities.
Oh,
you can get on a plane. Hey, you already might be in Europe. We don't know. You could already be there. You could be in Paris. Just, come on the show. We'll introduce you to some of the athletes. Then you can go do your thing. All right, you guys, this has been great. I appreciate it. B, it's gone from lightness to darkness in Paris.
Yeah, it has.
Just so everybody knows, B is actually in Paris. She actually did win a bronze medal in Paris
yesterday
at the Paralympics yesterday in the long jump. Grace Stark, Olympian, first-time Olympian, amazing. And now you're bringing home some hardware on the trip through Europe. Bring those bags home.
Yes.
Bring those bags home. We need that money. Thanks, you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great Sunday. See ya.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.